Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the southwest, ending with Team 2 in the northeast. Starting off with Team 1 southern player, working our way clockwise, we have in Ruby Red, Azuros as an Aeon for this match. He is a 2100, the highest rated player on Team 1. To his northwest, we have in Amethyst Purple Ninra as an Aeon, as well as a 1300. In the rear guard slot here for Team 1 is Chicken Mayaba as another Aeon for Team 1. He is a 1700 again in Light Oak Tan. In Snow White, to his north, blending in with his environment, is Winter, definitely aptly named for this map. He is a Seraphim, and he is a 1600. And last but not least, on the northwestern side here for Team 1, it is Love Me Some Rice as a Cybern. He is in Chevy Crimson as a 1700. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 3 Aeon, 1 Seraphim, 1 Cybern, which means Team 1 lacks UEF technology. Starting off with Team 2 Southern player, working our way. Let's do counterclockwise this time. We have in orange, the color orange, Kabanoff as a UEF. He is a 1700, going for that nice little grouping of rocks. To his north, we have in Rust, the Aeon commander of Pepe's. He is a 1400. In the rear guard slot here for Team 2 is Sakura Imbloom in lightish red pink. He is a Seraphim. He is a 1700. To his southwest, we have in emerald green Desync, very blank emotion face. He is a UEF for this match. He is a 1300. And rounding out Team 2's lineup and the game overall is Lil Sid Little as a UEF as well. He is in forest green, the best color and faction combination in all of Supreme Commanderdom. He is a 2200, the highest rated player on Team 2 and in the game overall. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 3 UEF, 1 Seraphim, and 1 Aeon, which means Team 2 lacks cyber technology. And of course, as a reminder, Team 1 lacks UEF technology. And for 10 players on the map, let's take a look at the weekend they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at, drumroll please, 30,000 mass in reclaim, which means it is a little bit over 3,000 mass per player. And it is dotted pretty much everywhere around the map. But there are definitely points that our player is going to go after. Nice little 1100 or so in the middle, 1200 over there to the northwest, another 1200 and 1200 to the southeast. We do see that the mexes here for Team 2 side of the map, there is a Trimex on that upper plateau, which we do see that Kamanoff is going for another Trimex next to him. Looks like that's going to Pepe's. Trimex here for Team 2's Desync, as well as one right here. And then one more over here to the west here for Team 2's Lil Sid Little. Not really anything too much in the back. There's a couple of one-offs that are being shared between the rear guard and Desync. But pretty much that's all of the mexes. There are a couple down the middle, a couple of them on these upper plateaus, and then a couple of mexes on these little cliffs. But not really a whole lot of like really tightly grouped mexes to grab. So our player is probably going to be focusing obviously on the reclaim first, and then trying to get as many mexes, of course, as they can, because why would you not? And then after that, pretty much just going to be focusing on probably ecoing up with Matsfabs, Rascoms, or a combination of the both. Well, who knows? We'll see how our players decide to go beyond, if not beyond that, but about that. We do see that Team 1's Love Me Some Rice going down this northwestern section of the map. A very tight environment here in the northwest and the southeast. So I expect that most of the land fighting will occur in these 2 middle lanes here. I mean, it doesn't mean that land fights aren't going to happen, but a tight environment like this, you could maybe fit 2 chickens side by side, maybe. But after that, just the pathfinding bumping into one another, not very beneficial. We do see a land factory over here for Lil Sid Little. Going to mess with the pathfinding a little bit, because it is even a narrower. That sounds weird for some reason in my head. Environment here going to make it even very difficult for decent groups of T2, T3 units to really get in and around that little plateau there. We do see, of course, a couple of mexes here in the north that Lil Sid Little is going after. They are isolated from the land on the other side of the map, so these are completely isolated, meaning that you have to either fly units over or teleport them over or transport them over. Whatever the case may be, you can't just walk from one side of the map to the other couple of upgrades has been started here by Team 1's players, both going for T2 upgrades, that being the Aeon commanders of Azuros and Ninra being bombarded by Kabanov, trying to aggressively push with that UBF commander. Unfortunately, he is suffering the lack in range due to not having that gun upgrade on board, and of course, Aurora have the range advantage. He could easily just turn around and then probably go after some of the Aurora. He's probably waiting to get further back behind some friendly units to do so. We do see that those strikers are inbound, and the Aurora have decided to veer off, not peer off. Peel off? I think peel off also works for that that engagement. Words are very hard this morning, afternoon, evening, night, whenever you are watching this cast. 3 o'clock in the morning, can't fall asleep. We do see that desync going in to plug this little hole that's just still existing, because again, early 7, 10, 15 minutes, you can't plug every hole in the game, but of course you can do your best. We do see that gun has been started by Winter, and gun has been started for Love Me Some Rice. So Team 1's players in the west going for gun, Team 1's players in the east going for the T2 upgrades. So again, defensive on the south, offensive on the northern side of things. No upgrades as of yet for anybody on Team 2, surprisingly enough. Yeah, no one going for upgrades. They're mainly focusing on getting their mexes expanded, getting some T1 units spammed up, and then of course going for T2 here shortly. We do see that Kamenov does have that upgrade done, as well as, I was going to say Lusa Little should be there here shortly, but I don't see any facility. Oh yeah, it's right there. About to be finished off there. We do see in the northwest, Team 2's Lusa Little has claimed the northwestern section. Same thing in the southeast here for Kabanov. So both of Team 2's eastern and western players have now grabbed the corners, which will start to funnel Team 1 into a smaller and smaller environment, essentially extending their lines of attack while nullifying some of Team 1's. As we do see some T2 PD have been established. They are the Oblivion PD. They are decent. They're not my favorite. I think my favorite actually are the Utashalas. The only, of course, downside with them, they don't have any sort of curve to them, so they have to be direct line of sight, very similar to the Cerberus. But the Cerberus is only really good for Team 1. A couple of T2 units is really about it. Sensor package is done for Osiris' commander. We do see gets a decent chunk of vision and radar there. Being able to see a lot of what's going on, at least in the direct vicinity. And still not really a lot of huge land engagements. I haven't even seen some comm-on-comm action yet, surprisingly enough, at almost 10 minutes on the clock. We do see Winter is pushing forward with his gun comm, going against really nothing from Team 2. Large group of units supporting him, though. Needs to get a little bit closer to him just to ensure he doesn't get bombarded by T2, T1 units, or even some bombers. We do see T2 online. Actually going straight for T3, it looks like, here for Team 2's Desync. Wanted to get those Percys online sooner rather than later. Don't blame him in that regard. Getting another facility on the front lines as well to T2. We do see Winter again is pushing in. He is going to be suffering shortly. All of these units falling back to intercept will give a little bit of an opening for Team 1's Love Me Some Rice to use if he decides to do so, which is the perfect opportunity. It'll force Wilson Little to either move in to engage or keep his position online. Looks like he's not going to do it, and wall sections are going to be established for a while to spam out defenses over there. Nano has been started by Kabanov. He does have the gun on board, and gun being built here by Desync as well. You see Pepe is still holding position, getting some nice asylums in the mixer to protect not only himself and his units. And again, is it 3,500 or is it 3,000? It's 3,500 hit points for each of those shields. Adds a decent chunk of hit points to himself and, of course, those units surrounding them. We do see Nano Repair has been started by Love Me Some Rice, which means he has the stealth upgrade online. Team 1's last remaining player in the Southwest, Chicken, just going for ringing his T2 mexes with some of those mass storages to scale his eco a little bit more. And he's doing the reclaim build T3 mech strategy instead of just upgrading his T2 to T3 mexes. It just depends on how fast you can build it. I think it's 2.5 minutes or so. I forget what the timing is on that. I think it's like 2.5 minutes. If you can reclaim it and build it, it's faster and more efficient than it is to just upgrade it. I think it's how that works. I know the longer it goes, the better it is for the upgrade, rather than just, of course, destroying it and rebuilding it. We do see T3 units online. Hasn't gone for the Percy, went for the Titan. Now he's going for Percy's. There they are. And he's going to be able to hold this part of the map very, very well. He has pushed back Winter, and still no com-on-com action as of yet. 12.5 minutes on the clock. Nano Repair almost done for Love Me Some Rice. We do see that in the south, Azuro still holding position, getting, of course, some radar systems. Really just holding steady here. We do see a couple of units dropped off here by Team 2's Kavanaugh, grabbing a couple of facilities and a mechs. There's one more mechs online that he can grab. And it does look like Team 1 has launched a counterattack. Azuro's grabbing the southeastern corner of the map. Team 2 has benefited that from a while now, and he looks like he wants to grab those 3 mexes down there. And again, as if you haven't watched yesterday's video, I did kind of call this out. I've noticed with higher ranked players as games that lots and lots and lots of radar, even if it's T1, giving them some sort of just constant intel. And it also, of course, adds to the fact that, oh, this installation that I was getting radar from is now gone. What's happening over here kind of thing. And it's cheap. It's not as bad as, of course, going for straight T3, because T3 is very expensive, especially at this stage in the game. And, you know, the T2 radar does give a lot of radar signatures, but the amount of cost, 150 versus 20, of course, it does kind of, you know, about 2 or 3 T1s is way better than T2. But, of course, it's about efficiency and all that sort of thing. But anyway, that is something that I will point out, because I made a comment about it in yesterday's video, and I figured I should make a comment about it again, just to reiterate the fact. We do see that the comm of Love Me Some Rice has dropped to the upper plateau. Both of these Western and Eastern players here for Team 1 fighting back, trying to grab the edges of the map, trying to box Team 2 in now that Team 1 was boxed in for a while. T3 air should be online here for both teams, and it is in there, and it is back there, so at least 1 air player for each team. I thought I saw... No, that's a T3 land. Looked like a T3 air, but it was a T3 land. Essentially, everybody else has gone for land, and only 1 player for each team going for air. We do see that Desync Force is trying to push in. Winner's still just trying to punch through Team 2's defenses, but Team 2 is holding. Do see, of course, still no com-on-com action as of yet. No one's traded blows. We do see this nice piercing attack outbound here from Team 1's Love Me Some Rice. Some interceptors are moving in to guard these bombers, but there are some Team D going down. It does open the door for some missile place outbound from Team 1, which I don't see any of those. Maybe he has one somewhere I haven't noticed, but of course, going after the Team D does allow for missiles to come into play. A couple of Percys are being dropped off here from Team 2's Little, but he really needs those Titans, be able to rapid response units fire a lot of shots very, very quickly. T1 Bombers trying to stave off this Mantis attack. It's going to probably lose this Max and probably 1 more, but that should be it. Another transport inbound, going to be another Percy. And again, Percys are nice. They have a lot of hit points and they deal a lot of damage, but it's one-on-one kind of issue you see here. If you had the fire rate, most of these units would already be dead. Couple of Medusas still in the mix here. Those are going to be the most damaging units in terms of structures. 1 more over there. That's gone. This T2 mix does go down. And 3 Mantis remain. You can see that T2 mix is going to survive, but still, I feel like a Titan would have been more beneficial than a Percy, at least in this regard. Of course, most of the time I would say the other way around, but in, of course, choice plays, this one would be a little bit better for a Titan. We do see, of course, some bricks in the northwestern corner here now for Love Me Some Rice, grabbing these mexes, or at least denying them at a minimum. We see a lot of interceptors here for Team 2 just guarding these bricks. They're not really going to be able to do a whole lot because they don't have weapons that target the ground, but at least securing the area is better than nothing. We do see that now a couple of Harbingers up here grabbing the rest of this plateau. Now Team 1 owns the southeastern and the northwestern plateau for the most part. There's still facilities here for Little T3 facility to be, in fact, and a Percy or 2 being deployed to counteract Team 1's invasion. We do see in the middle of the map here Ninra fire-basing wars against his Aeon opponent of Pepe's. So no faction advantage one way or the other. We do see some, were those some Absolver shots? I think that is what that was, and that died. But we did see some Absolvers. They are very, very good at taking out shields. But of course, they don't really do any other else in terms of damage. In terms of like actual hit point damage, it's mainly just shield capacity. Transports with a couple of units inbound. Harbinger is going to drop. Going to grab some T2 mexes there. This group of Harbingers will go after the core mass here for Kabanoff. That's going to hurt. T3 facility is online. A couple of T1 PD are going to be built as quickly as possible, but they're not going to be able to save probably that T3 PGen. That Percy is going to walk in front of it, but it is going to be reclaimed, so that Percy will be fine. Another T2 Mex is going down. T3 Mex will be fine. And there, those Harbingers, but still 1, 2, 3 mass extractors are down. 2 of them fully ringed, 1 of them was not. So 18, 24 mass per second. Kamenov has lost. Lots of conversation in chat, most of it in Russian. I am not able to understand that, of course, because I do not speak or read Russian, unfortunately. That feels like a really cool language to learn. That one, German and Japanese would be the 3 that I would like to learn the most. Japanese being number 1, because for those of you who are not aware, I do enjoy anime a decent amount, and being able to not watch it in subtitles, being able to watch it in sub without subtitles would be really, really cool. But it is a difficult language to learn. I just think Germanic is a really cool language as well. Not Germanic, but German. Sorry. It is a style or a type of language, but I want to learn the German language. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the not the forcefulness, but just the power I get. I don't know how to describe it. It's just so, I mean, meaty would be the way I probably would describe it. That's probably not the word that I should probably use, but that is the word that I will use, because I don't have any other way to describe it. 20 minutes on the clock here. Team 1 and Team 2 at 1.1k mass per second. Team 2 drops right below that and goes right back up. Nobody has died. Knock on wood for these players. No one might die before 30 minutes. We'll just have to see. Very rare it doesn't happen, but it does. We do see, of course, map control about 50-50. It's very fluid, especially in the corners. So I'll just call it 50-50 and leave it there. And again, thank you so much for watching to this point in the video. And of course, if you've enjoyed my coverage so far, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And as always, if you enjoyed it this much, share it with your friends, your family, and of course your pets, especially your pets, because your pets deserve to watch quality content like this, because this is one of the best RTSs in the game, if not the best. I don't know, I really do like Star Wars Empire at War, though, as per all the videos on the channel that can attest to that, so it's kind of a hard toss-up between these two, or between those two, but this one is, of course, at least in my top 3 at a minimum. We do see in the north, Lemmy Samurais going to try another attack, but there are more Percys here, which means those bricks will be severely out DPS'd here. We do see shots being traded, and that brick is about to go down. Bomber inbound. 2 of those bricks go down. Another brick goes down. We do see there's so much firepower here. Lemmy Samurais continue to push in. This is not a great idea, but he does have the laser on board. Team 2 does see him, of course. They can see him quite distinctly. There is no escaping that. He does have nano, but he doesn't have cloaking. He desperately needed it. He's going to go down. There he goes. He underestimated the damage to the Percy's output. And there he goes. 21.5 minutes on the clock here. Team 1 loses their first player, dropping this game to a 4v5 in favor of the northern team of Team 2. But it does give somebody else another base on Team 1. It is going to go to Azuros, but as I figured, it probably would go to Winter because he's right there. It's a lot easier to micro when you're on essentially the same same section of the front line. But we do see a chicken is online. That's actually a really early chicken here for Team 1. It was probably built around the 20-minute mark, and I probably just missed it. Surprisingly enough, there is a Cybran in this game, and that was Lemmy Samurais, and he did not build a monkey. He just went for bricks and a laser. And this chicken is going to get a lot of work done, piercing the front lines here for that is desync. We do see some Percys are falling back, and some Percys are actually piercing the front line over here from Team 2's Lucid, taking advantage of the fact that there's no longer a comm to micro things over there. We don't see any experimentals inbound here from Team 2. I don't see anything. Of course, 3 out of the 5 of them are UBF, so their direct fire experimentals are limited, due to the fact that, of course, that they are Percys, not Percys, they're Fat Boys instead of chickens or monkeys or colossi or whatever. Lots of spearheads, though, here for Team 2's desync, and that chicken is not moving, which means they're going to get a lot of value out of the shots that they actually do land. But this is a great attack here from Team 1. They needed a victory, especially with the death of Lemmy Samurais. They're going to take out a decent amount of eco. Unfortunately, they need a response to this. Transport's laden with a couple of Percys now also inbound. I heard an explosion, I thought, somewhere. No? No? Huh. Thought I heard an explosion, but I guess not. GC's at 90%, says Ninra. There is an experimental online for Pepe's. It is going to take a little bit to get that to the front line, but it does look like Ninra is retreating. He's lost that fight and has decided to just take the L and retreat. We do see that all of these units here from Team 1's Winter is actually coming in to intercept Lil Sid Little's base. We do see he's going to now move to get the heck out of there. Percy's moving in to just slow the approach. And still, Percy's here from Lil Sid Little doing tons of damage. Multiple mechs are taken offline. Team 1 PD trying to be spammed up to protect said investment. But I feel like this is going to be a lot of mass that Team 1 is going to lose here shortly. They are in the lead, but they are probably going to get tied up here after this. But there is some mexes that will go down in this base for Lil Sid Little as well, so it's going to be a nice little trade there. Ravagers aren't going to do great. They're going to target that chicken, which the chicken dodges a little bit, but still dies. It's the Authams that are inbound that are really going to do all of the damage. The chicken was just the tank that they were hiding behind, even though it's technically not a tank. We have some Volt 2 gunships inbound, but there's a decent amount of lightning tanks and some flak behind this, which means those gunships will be ripped apart very, very quickly. Those are inbound from Sakura, and he does have some ASFs guarding them as well. Team 1 bombers over here waiting for those gunships to clear up the flak. Autumn still piercing in. P-Gen's going down. Mex is going down. Percy's trying to save off damage. A couple of Percy's actually up here being able to shoot down at that Autumn. And that T3 land headquarters is gone here for Lil Sid Little. That's going to hurt his production capabilities. An air fight does occur. Team 1 wins that air fight, so Team 1 is in air dominance territory at 25 minutes. Looks like those Percy's have now been dealt with, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, I lost count. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mexes are now offline. Sorry, 11, 12. 12 mexes offline. That is a chunk of eco. Team 1 definitely not at 9.4k mass per second unless somebody built 2 Paragons very quickly. And I highly doubt that. You see Lil Sid Little still retreating. Authams are still chasing this commander, but he should have enough firepower. Oh, he doesn't have a gun on board, so he does not. I was going to say he should have enough firepower even with his commander, but he doesn't want to risk it. And it looks like some T1 PDs are going to be built to protect said commander. And look at this hole. That's Team 2's front line. The entire western and middle west section are gone. In the east, it's kind of just been a slow news day over here. Colossi, and Colossi for Team 2 and Team 1. But it is a 2v1 advantage in favor of Team 1 in that regard. But there's a second one about to tick over into the green, so it's going to be a 2v2 here shortly. And there is another one on the way. It looks like Nimra's producing those a little bit faster than his opponent, which means eventually Team 1 will have a huge advantage. I don't know if they're going to use it sooner rather than later, which is usually the case, because, again, one of the hard things to determine is, do you attack now? Do you wait? Do you risk it? Do you not risk it? Because the longer you wait, the more defenses your opponent's going to have, but you have enough, attack damage or attack power or units or whatever metric you want to use to be able to pierce through the defenses, deal enough damage to make the mass you lose worth it, or just secure the territory. And even if you can't secure it, can you at least deny it for a period of time? And those are things that these players, especially high-rated as they are, think very, very quickly. They try to make those assessments. And, some players make mistakes. And I think, actually not some, everybody makes mistakes. Regardless if you are a -400 player, a 500, an 1,000, a 2,200, or even a 2,800. Everybody makes mistakes. That is what I love about this game is, oh, you lost? Okay, let's just play another one. You just play another one. You see that those Colossus are leading the assault. Decent amount of sniper bots and harbingers behind them on those little spider legs, or I don't even know what other kind of legs I can think of. They look like daddy long legs. They're just so long. They're very similar, of course, to the Cyberns, where they are very much modeled after a spider and that sort of aesthetic, but Cyberns lean into it way more heavily than the Aeons do. We do see that Kamenov with a gun is moving into range of that Colossus and goes, nope, goes, not worth it, not worth it. Actually, no, he decides overcharging, killing off the Harbinger. He misses the overcharge on that Colossus. He does have a shield. He has 19,000 hit points with it and 14,000 on his hull. If he gets a rank in veterancy, he might survive. I don't think he's going to survive. There goes Kamenov. Team 2 is going to lose their first player of the game. There he goes. Ooh, that is got to hurt. Team 2 loses their Eastern player and is now a 4v4 game. And the middle east side is being attacked at the same time. This Colossus is going to go down. This Colossus is going to go down. Team 2 is hurting on the eastern side. Their front lines are collapsing. We did see that the western side started to collapse. It's bouncing back a little bit, but still, we see that Colossus is bearing down for the main base that now is under the control of, who is that? That is Pepe's. And Pigeons are the target. T2 gunships are inbound. And with those gunships that will secure the territory, but that mech almost died, but is not taken offline. There he goes. He is down. We do have a couple of Harmagers still piercing through, but there are some decent PD defenses, so those should be able to deal with those, or at least some of them. And there are those gunships inbound to secure. Colossus over here to the west. Lots of PD being built. Gunships are inbound. No air coverage here from Team 1. Kind of surprised. Looks like they're just having a kind of a tussle between who's going to engage, or what looks like the ASF from Team 2 will intercept. Ooh, this is a great engagement here for Team 2. Sakura, he read what Team 1 was going to do, and he wiped the floor with those ASFs. Now, to be fair, there were a lot more ASFs for Sakura versus Team 1's chicken, but still, that interception was great. That was great. It puts Team 2 Sakura fully in the air dominance territory at over 80 alive ASFs. And gunships now moving in. Colossus actually retreating. I don't know, but I guess falling back. That's a large reclaim field for Team 2 to scoop up. Same thing over here with the Colossus back there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Colossi. 2 of them were built by Team 2. So that's net positive of 1 wreck. Gunships are inbound for some T3 mexes. Wait, no, they're not going to stop. Restore is being built. It looks like the gunships are going after... What are they going after? I don't really know. AA is going to be built all the way there. Donut is online for Team 1's chicken. That's interesting. Nuke also online. Gunships are not going to make it, though. There's so few of them remaining. T3 Ascendant's going to rip them apart. There's a donut. There's a donut right there. There's a... Oh, he sees it. He sees the donut. The laser is activated. Lots of ASFs are going to die, but they are going to claim the donut, which is, again, better than nothing. The mass, of course, will stay on Team 1's side of the map, but now they have to spend the time to rebuild it. That, I mean, it's got to hurt. Lots of ASFs will die trying to, get back home, but at least they killed off an experimental, which is better than nothing, I will admit. But that nuke is very troublesome here for Team 2. It is half loaded, and it's actually took a little bit of damage there, but nothing too concerning. Team 2, how is your SMD coverage? Actually, that's Team 1. Excuse me. Team 2 has your SMD coverage. There's one there. That one is not loaded. There's one over there. I can't see that. I forgot. I wish you could see your teammates as like loaded nukes or loaded SMDs or loaded stuff like that, because then you could just, instead of ask, hey, do you think SMD is loaded? That's Love Me Some Rice talking. But in the regard of, oh, Lewis and Little, is your SMD loaded? No, it is not, kind of thing. Instead of having to like type that out or say that. And you're in comms, you're in Discord. It's a little easier, of course, because you can just say it. But being able to just look over, it would be a little bit beneficial. A little bit being a decent amount of it. 2 Fat Boys online for Pepe's. He's dealing with 2 Colossi, though, so those Colossus will overpower him soon. We do see, of course, engineers scooping up that reclaim and now producing their own Colossus to protect said artillery or mobile artillery investments. Artillery, speaking of which, is coming online here for Pepe's. He doesn't have an SMD. If Team 1 knows about that, that might be a target to go after. Of course, the air grid is always a good target to go after. SMD back here was just built. This one is very crucial. If this one does not load in time and Team 1 targets that air grid, that is not going to go well for Team 2. Nuke is almost loaded. It's going to be close. It's going to be another one of those games where the SMD being loaded might make the difference between victory and defeat, at least in the short term. Colossus continuing to just bear down the front door of Team 2's Pepe's on this eastern side. Fat Boy moving into range. Now there are 2 Fat Boys shooting at that Colossus. You know it's bad when the secondary guns on board the Fat Boy open up. Shield is attacked, but it is now destroyed. That Colossus is not going to be able to kill off that Fat Boy. The other Fat Boy that was guarding over here moved in, which might give a little bit of room for this Colossus to engage, but I don't think it's wise, because all that Fat Boy has to do is turn around with its now brother, move in, and protect that mass field for Team 2. In terms of reclaim in total, Team 2 sitting at 193,000, Team 1 at 157. That's obviously primarily due to the Colossus being killed. Well, the other one that was killed over here, and of course the 3 or 4 that were killed over here. But in terms of course, that's, what is that, 40,000 mass. It's a chunk nuke. His launch, speaking of which, and it's going over here. Kavanaugh, old base at least, is just getting pummeled this game. You had Harbingers drop on it. You had a Colossus that came through it, at least partly. You had another Colossus that decided to walk through it as well. So 2 Colossus and a decent amount of Harbingers, and now a nuke. Oh, man, it is not going well for this base for Pepe's. He's just like, man, this investment, like this, my friend gave me this, and it's just costing me mass and energy and APM and everything. And there goes the nuke. Going to kill off a decent amount of core mass, decent amount of P-gens, decent amount of PD. And there goes kaboom! And the SMD, frankly enough, is still fine. It's still being built, but it's still fine. And how much mass, of course, as we like to see, did it kill off? 55,000. That is definitely a respectable amount of mass. Wasn't a huge, giant, air grid or artillery or other nuke or whatever else. But still, it is a good target to go after. That's a decent chunk of mass that he's dead. Pepe's is still getting, or now not getting, I should say. We do see bombardment from these Fat Boys. Fat Boy doesn't have shielding. That's not great. Looks like he was attacked earlier on. Another air fight inbound. It looks like Team 2 will win it. Once again, tons of Voltu gunships ripping apart everything on the ground here. Those ASFs just cannot pierce through the defenses to be able to go after those gunships. Those gunships are vulnerable. They don't really have any defenses for, at least in the air department. Transport with an engineer inbound to scoop up reclaim and go after war mexes, but I highly doubt it's going to last that much longer. There is a nice little base down here with a radar system, able to gather some passive intel. That Colossus, actually 2 Colossus, decided to engage, and unfortunately those Voltus were nearby, and that was probably a mistake. Team 1 bombers coming in from Pepe's as well. It looks like the combined effort of some Ravagers, these gunships, and these bombers. There is some flak, it looks like, nearby. A couple of these ascendants from the Aeon side of things. That Colossus is definitely regretting his choice in moving in. Fat Boy is falling back. Second one also coming in to protect. And again, this is the downside. It's essentially just a giant kill box for Team 1 to walk through. You see 2 Colossi moving in. They're trying to just teeter-totter it back and forth, the west and the east. And as I talk about it, I look at the mini-map, and there's a fight going on in the west that I gotta cover because lots of stuff is happening. 2 chickens down the middle, 2 chickens down the west, multiple Voltu gunships inbound here, and he's getting a lot of value out of those gunships. Gonna kill off another, oh nope, not gonna get it because the ASFs are now inbound from Team 1's air player of chicken. Let me see that fight continuing to just keep Team 2 on their toes. How is that nuke loading once again? Almost loaded once again. Donut being rebuilt or built. Another nuke coming online here for Team 1. Actually, it's already loaded for Ninrus. That's the second nuke launcher. And soon to be second nuke in the game. There it goes. Nuke is launching. Where is it going? Looks like it's going for this Fat Boy. And this SMD is about to load. That nuke will be batted out of the sky unless Team 1 can kill off that SMD. But unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be able to. Team 1. Another Fat Boy built here by Team 2's desync. And that's now a lot of mass for Team 1 to scoop up. There's no engineers nearby for Team 1, which means all it's going to go is to Team 2. And that SMD does fire. The attack in the east does peter out. And so we can end it and shift things back over. I was focusing, I thought about like, oh, I've been focusing on this eastern side for a little bit. How's the western side doing? I just see this line of white units. I'm like, I should probably cover that. Did you see those 2 chickens still going after this Fat Boy, trying to do as much damage as they can? But the longer they don't just full send it into a target, the more damage Team 2 is going to be able to do. We do see, of course, some Ravagers are going to get, ravaged. They are putting some damage. They're actually going to get walked over. That's, or stepped on. Some people like that. I don't, but some people do. We do see that these 2 chickens going after this nice little, not artillery, but production base here for Team 2's desync. And all this is really doing is just forcing Team 2 to turtle up more and more and more, because the constant raiding either forces them to put all of their eggs in one basket or, beef up their defenses more and more. Zeros builds an experimental unit. What is it? He's Aeon, most likely a Colossus. He has 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them over here. There's 5 of them over there. There should be another one. Nope, he's building an emissary down here. And that attack is not going to feel good. There is 1 Colossus for defense here for Team 2's Pepe's, but 1 is not going to be enough against the 5 that are inbound. Well, that one's almost dead, to be fair, so technically 4, but we'll still call it 5. Do you see that Snake and Chicken is now dealt with the Bomber and Fighter Bomber configuration for Team 2. Team 2's got to think about other ways to go at Team 1. Artillery is in the green. We do see that a couple of Oblivion PD are trying to target that little air scout over there. Nuke loaded, says Chicken and you. Looks like there's going to be a double nuke launch. No, 40%. He just launched it a couple of moments ago. Another artillery being built. Another artillery. We see 3 artilleries being built by Team 1. All of the Aeon players going for the best T3 artillery in the game, and that is the Emissary. That one is almost half done. This one is over half done. This one is a third of the way done. Team 2 only has the 1 being built, unless I missed something. There is an Awasa Bomber about to finish, so that'll be very nice for Team 2. Production facility here for desync. And there it is, folks. The T4 compensating experimental of the UEF. It is the Mavor. Has started its construction. 37 minutes on the clock. Nuke is loaded as well. If Team 2 can knock out the... Oh, okay, well, never mind. It's not loaded anymore because I had to say something about it. Where is it going? It's going for... Where is it going? Going for this base? This base isn't this... Oh, it's going for this base. If the Colossus are funneled back into this base, that could be a devastating amount of damage to Team 1's attack power on the land side of things. It looks like the Colossus are actually moving out of range. Zeros kind of fears that he was going for it, and that's what he was right about. And there goes the nuke. It is going to land. Decent amount of mechs is going to go down. Artillery is going to go down. Kaboom! Takes out almost all of those T3 mexes. A couple of them still online. And actually, 1 artillery barely makes it with 900 hit points to its name. How much mass did that nuke kill off? 53,000. Definitely respectable as well. Nothing terrible. Not like a 20,000 or 30. 30,000 I think is the bare minimum I think a nuke should kill off. Like I say, at a minimum. Emissary for Team 2 is done. Team 1 does have decently shielded air grid as well as assisting facilities over here. It's artillery for Team 1 is done. Artillery for Zeros is almost done, so 2 artillery is about to come online. Well, 3 of them technically. Of course, there are the 2 nukes. 2 artilleries online shortly for Team 1. Team 2 only has 1 of each. They do have a bomber, though, which, where did that go? Is that it? That's it. Okay, I just want to keep track of where that bomber is. Probably artillery already here. Sakura making comments about where stuff could be. And we should actually be able to see those pings. Yep, there they are. I love these like little text blocks that you can put on the map. You're like, hey, there's a thing here. Hey, there's a thing here. You don't have to keep pinging it. So there's a thing here. You mark SMDs that way. You can mark, anything. I love it. It's a great tool for players. And also for casters to be like, oh, yeah, there's stuff there. Zeros needs mass to red. Says Ninra. Well, the artillery should be done. It's about to finish. There it is. T3 artillery is done for the 2nd Aeon player. The 3rd Aeon player still in the yellow, but about half done as well. And 3 artilleries with the Emissary is devastating. SMDs are being targeted. No, looks like they're going after the artillery. It looked like they were going after the SMDs. But the bomber is inbound, and this is going to be a great bomber. Going to land right in the middle of all of those Harmingers. Going to land. Oh, great positioning. Takes out a ton of units in its initial explosion. And its bigger one takes out a ton of T3 land support. Killed off 16,000 mass. Going to go in for another one. ASF's protecting it the best they can. Actually, the bomber is going to actually retreat, looks like. Waiting for Team 1 to send the ASFs in. But there are 4 Colossus remaining for Team 1. Team 2 has 0. They also lost one of their Fat Boys. Lots of Ravagers were spammed up, but that's not going to be enough. If Team 1 decides to engage, it is going to be devastating for Peppers' eastern side. Bomber is inbound once again, going to land essentially right where the first one did. Oh, there it goes. All of those Harmingers are gone. How much mass is now killed off? Sitting at 28,000, so really good use so far out of that bomber. We do see in the nukes, are they loaded? No and yes. We do see the emissary fire is focusing on Azuros' position. He's actually going to move his commander to just get out of there. And again, Team 1 has 2 artilleries. Team 2 only has the 1. They do have, of course, the Mavor that's being built, which is now in the yellow. I don't know if Team 1 knows about it. No, they don't know about it. They just see a lot of radar signatures over there. So we will see if that is finished or not, because some games, those game enders are finished, and sometimes they are not. We do see that the Aeon's getting a little bit of some UEF tactics in the mix here from their teammate. Going to get some nice lasers going down here for Team 2. And again, a decent amount of vision and Omni. That's what is one of the best things I like about the satellite, is that it provides Omni, it provides vision. It's hugely beneficial.
Strategic launch detected.
We do see some bombers running around down here for Team 1's airplay of chicken, but they didn't really go after anything, which is very weird. Looks like they're going after... Oh, they went after SMDs. That one is gone. It looks like that was their main target. There's another one over here. There's also one right here. There's also the bomber still sitting there. I don't know if it's trying to body block the shots. I don't really know why it's sitting there. It needs to move a little bit more to the northeast. Oh, shield comes on at the very last moment. It was very close. And there goes the nuke. Kaboom! Lands, takes out pretty much all of those defenses for Pepe's. And I think that was out of this one. Nope, it was out of this one. 138,000 mass kill. I think that was 2 nukes. I think the third one was shot down, so 2 nukes. Decent amount of mass killed. Those Colossus are given the green light to engage. There's 2 Fat Boys over here. This one is almost dead, so Team 1's got to be very careful how far they're pushing, because some of those Colossi are already damaged. We have Azar sitting over here, multiple crabs. It's just a war of the Fat Boys, essentially, for Team 2. And Team 1's just trying to pierce their shielding and all of their defenses. Again, the only downside is the further Team 1 pushes in, the harder it is to reclaim, the easier it is for Team 2 to reclaim. And that could be a game-ending move, to just dump mass on your opponent's doorstep, scoop it all up, and then be done with it. The Mavor is going to finish, most likely. 43 minutes almost on the clock here. Team 2 suffering under the weight of that emissary bombardment. There should be that third one almost done. It looks like it's getting transferred over to Sakura. Not at a great moment, though. There goes the artillery. Takes out a P-Gen and a couple of shields. You need more shielding there now, Sakura. Looks like Pepe's gifted everything over for the most part. Don't know what for. Did he, I have to go. It said I gave you base. This is shield in your base. Looks like he had to go. He didn't leave the game, but he had to go for some reason. But there should be, yep, there it is. Third artillery is online. Team 1 has 3 artillery pieces and 2 nukes. Team 2 now has the Mavor, the T4 game ender. It's fired its first volley, and the nuke launches at the same time. It's going to actually land on this base where the megaliths are being produced. We do see there is a megalith charging through the front lines. Actually crashes, or sorry, demolishes that Fat Boy wreck, because it's just blocked all over it. We do see that Tsar is now moving, looks like, into the middle. Airfight does occur once again, and that bomber doing tons of work going after all of these Colossus. Colossus have actually kind of divided up, going after different targets. Good thing is you can cover a wide area. Downside is you can't pierce to one target a lot easier. A lot easier, a lot more effectively. You see Bomber just throwing everything in the kitchen sink out of its doors. Multiple Team 1 bomber groups are inbound. Ninra's defeated by Little Sid. Defeated by a satellite. Pepe's control case. He leaves the game. We have stuff popping up here. It's now a 3v3 game. Oh, that's probably due to artillery, not necessarily. Oh, the satellite could have helped, but definitely the Mavor for a minimum. The second emissary here for Azuros is, well, it was Ninra. Now it's Azuros. Shields are starting to fall. Oh, there goes the artillery. There it goes. Clicks on top of that. That emissary clicks, lands on top, and takes out the wreck as well. No wreck for you. No soup for you. You're not getting anything. There is still 2 artillery pieces online for Team 1, but that is devastating to lose not only a player, but 2 almost artilleries. We do see, of course, ASF fight happens once again here, but it looks like these ASFs not really being microed. And what's funny is that he could have wiped those out, Sakura could have, but did not, I guess. We do see that the satellite and the artillery focusing on Chicken's commander. Chicken trying to get on a transport, and he gets destroyed by that. Oh, he gets destroyed by that satellite. Well, technically, he's like, how? I was in transport. Well, because the laser was already locked on to the target, I think is how that works. And so the sat was able to blitz down the transport. I do understand that it can be a little frustrating. He's in the transport. He can't be, air units can't be targeted by the satellite, but I think because it was technically on the ground still, he targeted it, and then as it flew up into the sky, the laser was still firing, because the laser doesn't just stop. It just continues to fire until it runs out, then it recharges. That's how he was killed off. So definitely unfortunate, one of those bad luck scenarios, but it is now a 3v2 game in favor of Team 2. We do see a frontal assault coming in here from Team 1's Winter, just throwing everything forward, trying to get some damage done. There's a second bomber inbound here from Team 2's air player of Sakura. 2 crabs over here to the west. That artillery was taken out. Looks like Team 2 loses that in Winter control Ks. It looks like that was due to the fact that he didn't want to die by a satellite. And it looks like Mavor, Ninra Mavor is down. Nuke is inbound, gonna kill off the, trying to kill off the mass, but unfortunately it will not. Double bomber wipes out one of those crabs. Second crab is gonna just feel the pain there. And Azuros is now the last player here for Team 1. Team 2 sitting at 3 players left. SMD fires, takes out that nuke. 46 minutes on the clock here. Shield heavy. His grid is not feeling well with power. Let's see what his power consumption is like. Oh, okay, he fixed it. Because I was like, there are no shields on mine. Not great for one emissary. But he still has 2, to be fair. He took out, or they took out, I should say, Team 2's Mavor. But it's not really looking good on the land side of things. Team 2 is ahead quite considerably. Team 1 threw everything they had. They don't really have much. Tons of spy points to get a nice little readout on Team 2's side of the map. Nuke is almost loaded. Team 1 still has 1 nuke. Yeah, because this nuke died off over here. So there's 1 nuke still alive and 2 artillery. Team 2 still has the 1 over here, just barely somehow. It did take some damage. Pigeon barely hanging on there. But love all the shielding, of course. Another attack straight down the middle. And I think this might be Team 1's last-ditch attempt. I don't think they're going to get much value out of it. There is a satellite here for Team 2's Emerald Green player of Desync. Another one here for the other green player of Little Sid Little. So they're just going after all of the mass extractors and just all of the AA, it looks like. Opening the doors for some bombers to intercept. And that's what's happening here. Team 2 is lining up the shot. Team 1's going to move in and try to intercept. Can't see the ASFs with doing that, though, because I'm not close enough to get their models to pop up. You see the air fight does happen. The ASF's trying to go after those bombers. Bombers will at least probably get 1 of those bombs off a piece. This one is probably not feeling good. Bomber needs to turn a little bit more to the north. There it goes. Bomb drops. Another bomb drops. Impacts on the shield. Second bomb impacts on the shield as well. Oh, it takes out some ASFs in the mix as well. That bomber's still alive. How are we doing? 20,000 hit points. The shields are down. Azuros is not feeling well. The artillery has been targeted, and the emissary from Team 2's Sakura comes in, takes out the emissary for Team 1's Azuros. And with that, I don't know if he has much. All of those emitters are down. And here come the bombers inbound for that comm next to a Pigeon. That's not going to feel good. Oh, there he goes. Oh, shield still holding. He still has some hit points remaining, though. That heavy shield can take a lot of punishment. 1 bomber is shot down. Looks like the satellites will focus fire on that comm. It looks like with this bomb, that will probably be enough. Bomb drops. And even if it's not, the satellites are overhead. There it goes. Boom! The commander for Team 1's remaining player of Azuros has been defeated, giving this a victory for Team 2. And I think the MVP for this game, I think Sakura did so much, got tons of air fights in, keeping and maintaining air control dominance. Very, very crucial here for this game. Lots of AA, of course, was built, as you can see, tons of it around the map. They knew that they were down in air. 105, at least the Aeon T3 AA sites. We do see a nuke that was actually almost loaded here for Team 1 down in the corner of the map. I don't know if it would have gotten any mileage. This SMD was taken out. Looks like they were going for the MSA or even, no, this SMD was fine. So probably the MSA was the target. But again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Sakura in Bloom gets the MVP in my book. Again, I really do appreciate all the time and attention you give to these videos and watching till the very end. Thank you so very much, and I will see all of you in the next one.